I'd like to introduce the Dean of the Graduate School, Dana Williams. She's gonna bring us greetings for our event. Dana, if you're ready.
I am. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Swinton, for the invitation and for all that you do in the Department of Economics. I'm also grateful for the ways that other colleagues, I'm sure, have supported you in this program. It's my pleasure to bring you greetings on behalf of the Graduate School. We're very excited about those of you who are being inducted, both undergraduates and graduate students alike. And so I want to take this opportunity to say congratulations to you all. And of course, I'm sure you're thinking about this and have heard this many times, but it bears repeating here. We need you and your unique skill sets today more than ever. I want to say thank you also to the faculty who have mentored, nurtured, taught, pushed, challenged, all of the inductees for this evening. And then I want to say a special welcome home to our speaker tonight, Dr. Hill. I look forward to a time when we can meet in person, but I'm glad to be able to celebrate with you this evening. But I also know that you will do wonderful things. And so more than looking forward to seeing you in the near future, I look forward to the work that you'll do in the world to make it more fair, more just, and far more equitable. Again, I want to say thank you to Dr. Swinton, and I look forward to hearing more about both Dr. Hill's remarks, but then some of the wonderful things that our inductees tonight will do. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Dean Williams. So good evening. My name is Dr. Omari H. Swinton. I'm the chair and the director of graduate studies for the Department of Economics here at Howard. This is a celebration of the accomplishments and achievements of our students and faculties. I'm gonna list a few of them now. For example, we have Dr. Smythe, who earned a research grant from Russell Sage, a research grant from the Center for Financial Security, and an early career award for Upjohn. Dr. Spriggs, in conjunction with the Labor Employment Relations Association, will have a session including 5 papers to be presented by 7 of our graduate students: Marcy, Bethel, Chantel, Nyana, David, James, and Lacumbo. For Dr. Daniels, for arranging for the chair of the San Francisco Federal Reserve Board to deliver a talk to a standing room crowd. And I'd also like to extend a congratulations to our 4 Just Julian Award winners, Christian, Barra, Lacumbo, and Bethel, and to our Sasakawa Youth Fellowship leader winner, Nyana Brown. To undergraduate Carl Romer for his research that he is doing with the Brookings Institute, which you can find featured on our webpage. To all of our undergraduates who took classes at the Federal Reserve Board who represented us well, so much so that we've had 6 students in the past 5 years who have ended up as research fellows. To Ethan and Christian for representing Howard at the AEA Summer Program. Our department this January was instrumental in hosting the 50th anniversary celebration for the National Economics Association. HUEDAA, the Alumni Association of the Economics Department, honored 8 faculty members from Howard for their service. This year, we'll graduate at least 6 new PhDs, 3 master's students, and 20 bachelors. This upcoming year, all things considered, will be extremely exciting because Howard will become the host of the American Economics Summer Minority Program. We are excited about this opportunity, and we're going to use it to launch our new BA/MA program. Our department is filled with amazing, hardworking faculty, staff, undergraduate, and graduate students. Upon graduation, whether you're undergraduate or a graduate student,
you better put on some shoes.
You should continue to support
right now.
All right. All right. So you can continue to support the department through HUEDAA, which is led by dedicated alumni who work tirelessly for the betterment of our department. And they're led by the amazing Hazel Robinson. Thank you for joining us tonight. The program will be followed exactly as outlined with the addition of Dr. Spriggs introducing the new Omicron Delta Epsilon members. Thank you. So we'll now have our introduction of our speaker by Ella Thornton.
First, giving honor to God, to the president of the Alumni Association, to the distinguished members of American Delta Epsilon, to Howard University, to faculty and friends. Okay, was that everyone? Did I omit anyone? I wanted to acknowledge everyone. Hello, and thank you for having me. I am delighted to be here, and what a beautiful day today is, and I'm so happy to share it with you. As a graduate of Jackson State University, College of Business, Department of Economics, it was my junior year when I was acquainted with such a consummate professional, discerning leader, and our guest speaker. I thought this day was just another day. I never imagined the impact he would have in my life. He inspired me to apply to Howard University. I was accepted into this noteworthy institution. Still, every so often, he will send a friendly check-in. He gives a different insight that allows me to develop, gain, and transform my ideas on economics, friendships, and life. This young man is my inspiring mentor for me and countless others. He has been there in our time of need for inspiration, guidance, and direction. Now, inspire. Inspire is the operative word here, you see, because God has called him to inspire. Called to inspire as an academic leader at Jackson State University, called to inspire at Coughlin University, where he brings excellence, enthusiasm, and innovation to the classroom. Called to inspire as the founding director for the Center of Research in Economic Education and Literacy in Finance to organize and develop K-12 teachers that would infuse economics and literacy and financial literacy and entrepreneurship into their curriculum. Called to inspire as an entrepreneur of John Nicholas Consulting Group, LLC, dedicated to providing realistic, accurate, and replicable analytical consulting for all of your academic and business and government needs. This young man who grew up in the rural area of Mississippi, Canton, Mississippi, known to be a small and vastly historic town, approximately 982 miles from Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, where this event is being hosted. This young man transcended the very boundaries of that small town. He has made an impact on our economy and the future generations of economists. Ladies and gentlemen, faculty and peers, family and friends, on behalf of the Department of Economics, it is my distinct honor and pleasant privilege to introduce to you a professor, a devoted and loving husband and father, my mentor, my teacher, my friend, our speaker, Dr. Nicholas J. Hill.
Ella, thank you once again. That was actually great, and it's good to see you. And from now on, you're going to introduce me anytime and every time I speak. I want you to come with me on the roads to every place to make sure you do an introduction like that. But I'm thankful for you for that, and I'm glad that you are working to inspire others outside the classroom as well as in. This evening, let me start by thanking Dr. Swinton and also Ms. Robinson for this opportunity. This organization, as well as them, they have supported myself throughout my years. Also, I want to give thanks to the committee for this recognition ceremony. You know, I'm indeed grateful for this particular opportunity. Before I begin, I always like to thank the people who are the most influential in my life. I'm going to start with my mother and father. They have supported me. Both of them are educators, and they have supported me in my tenure throughout my life and my career. So I'm indeed thankful for them. They've always inspired me and encouraged me to pursue whatever I wanted to do. I would also like to thank Nicholas, Harper, Clark, and John Mark, my sons, the 4 boys that are here. They have been always here as an inspirational to me, and they've always made me laugh when I needed it, and I'm indeed thankful. But last but not least, I want to thank my wonderful wife, who has always been a tremendous support system. One of the things is that she actually listens to all of my economic conversations and acts like she's interested in it. So I'm indeed thankful for her. And without her, none of this would actually, I would be able to be here today. So today I want to give an opportunity to talk about my journey. I want to talk and share with those who are here on this Zoom call today about what I feel to be the reason why there needs to be an economist in every room. And my journey, like others, are based on the fact of how economics can impact the global society in which we live. It can be argued today that economics is more relevant than any other time in our history. While my journey to the position that I'm in today is not unique, I believe some of the things that I've learned along this path would be things that I think would help out those who are getting inducted today and others who may be here on the call as well. So I want to share just a few points of consideration for you this evening. Just like most Federal Reserve chairs, please note that the comments that I say today are not representative of Claflin University or the other organizations, but they are representative of my own. I always wanted to say that when I get up to give a speech, because it seems like it's more powerful or prophetic with doing so. The first thing I want to kind of encourage each and every one of you is to kind of know who you are in the discipline that you're in. As my journey began, it began in a small school in Mississippi, Tougaloo College. Me and my group of friends used to gather outside of the dorm rooms, and we used to have discussions about what we used to learn in class. And one of the prolific questions that used to come up was, what type of M are you? Are you a macro person or are you a micro person? In many undergraduate programs across all campuses, this is the general education requirement that students have to take micro and macro economic theory. As we kind of know, being a macro person means that you kind of focus on the big picture. You start to look at things as a whole. And being in the micro, you kind of focus on the detailed picture. And I think that that approach of looking at situations, looking at events, is actually what is going on now. With this pandemic, what is the global ramifications of this? How does it affect the overall economy? 2, what should individuals do to make themselves safe? What are we going to do about those who are in the labor market? These are the same type of questions that are asked today. And it always used to spin from, are you a macro or a micro person? Now, as a professor, I used to ask students this all the time. I used to ask them, why are you taking macro or micro? And their answers were usually the same. It was that this one was much easier than the other one. I understand this one better than that one. But really, at the core of that answer, I believe that they were saying more deeply that any type of events, relationships, any problems, it was easier to examine what was going on through the lens of being big picture versus little picture. For many of you, whether you define yourself as a macro or a micro person. I encourage you to learn both of approaches and align your interest with what can allow you to contribute the most to society. With that, you will be able to face a lot of good opportunities, and you can actually influence a lot of individuals that will have definite impact on society. Upon graduation, and it was even more evidence for me, because upon graduation from Tougaloo, I had a decision to make. One of which was I was getting offers from companies within corporate America. I then had a choice to do the 8 to 5 suit and tie every day, analyzing all the information to help benefit the companies, or was there more to what I wanted to learn and wanted to achieve? I started at that point to apply for graduate studies. And I made the choice because I understand that knowing who I was not going to be indeed happy in a 8 to 5 working for corporate America. The second point I want to make sure that we kind of know is don't forget to have a personal touch that builds lasting relationship. Let me tell you a brief story that links to the previous one. Once I decided to apply to graduate studies, I applied to various schools. It was in the spring semester of 2000 that my mother gave me a call and said, someone from Howard University just gave you a call and told you to please call them back. That person was Dr. McDonald. I called him back and he stated to me, I'm reviewing your application. And I wanted to see if Howard would be a place where you wanted to study your graduate education. I immediately was shocked. I was immediately encouraged that someone at the highest level at the university was calling a student from Canton, Mississippi about this opportunity. That personal touch allowed me to redirect my life that has changed it forever. A lot of people on campus were there once I got there. They showed that it was a personal touch involved in the education, the personal touch and concern about someone from Mississippi being there that allowed me to be successful at the program. Also, while I was there as a graduate student, I was accepted into the summer program in Denver, Colorado. Little did I know at the time, there was a young man with extraordinary ability who was going to be there and had become my friend as well as mentor, Dr. Omari Swinton. He has been able to push me and give me sound advice that allowed me to develop and grow. And it was that personal touch that helped build this long-lasting relationships that we have as well. The third point I want to make sure that we are aware of is that uncertainty should not stop the potential for success. Now, my time at Howard was a wonderful experience. It was one in which I get to live in what they call the Mecca. I get to be a part of the DC culture. I got a chance to eat what we call Caribbean food roti. I believe that's how it's called. I think so. I had curry and jerk. And I got to get the chance to go to Ben's Chili Bowl. I got a chance to do a lot of things that tourists would normally do, but I was able to do it. But also while there was a lot of uncertain events. While studying for comprehensive exams, there was a call that came to one of our friends in the study hall who stated a plane had just crashed into a building. Little did I know that 9/11 was happening in DC. It was a lot of uncertainty that was there. The whole city shut down. people left cars on the street, and everything stopped. Shortly after that, there was someone who was mailing powder substance throughout the DC area. They were mailing anthrax that was deadly poison across DC area. After that, while I was there getting my graduate study, there was someone driving around and called the DC Sniper. In the 2 years that I was there was these big, huge national events that led to all of this certain uncertainty. But one of the things that I was determined was this was not going to stop the potential for success. Without the people within the school that was providing encouragement, without the people supporting understanding that I was far away from home, that organizations like HUEDAA providing that personal touch while I was there, I would not be able to speak with you today. And I hope that this would give you an evidence of the fact of how in uncertain times, it will not and it should not stop your potential for success. One of the key points that I've always been about is empowering minorities, especially those from the Black community. I think that one of the ways that we can grow and really be successful through economic empowerment. After receiving, becoming a professor at my former institution, I started on this path of what is the best way to empower others that look like myself. That's one of the reasons why I stayed in academics. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy teaching at an HBCU. Through my training with data analytics and understanding various economic theories, I began to talk to community leaders. I began to engage in discussions at the local and state level. One of which I think was helpful was they started to ask that I start to develop reports and economic impact studies. They started to insist that my voice and my economic voice helps them with empowering minority communities. The research tools that you're learning today, that you have learned within econometric courses, that are there for you not only to research, but have significance for making lives of others better than they are today. One of which in particular that I talk about is that I got a call from the mayor of the city of Jackson when I was a professor there. And he stated to me, I want you to look into providing a report on the wage levels within the city of Jackson. Pretty much a self-sufficient study of the persons who live within the city and whether or not they're up to the standards that they should be. He actually told me that, in fact, this report was going to be scrutinized because it was a hot button topic. And some political opponents would have their own economists there to see if what I was saying was accurate and point out any flaws that's within my report. Now, typically, I had to go back to what I learned in graduate studies is how to cite a lot more of the information that was provided, make sure that it is replicable, and then also make sure that what I'm saying is as accurate as possible. After submitting my report, it was cited by numerous newspapers and news channels picked it up. And they categorized it as a living wage. Unbeknownst to me, now we're having a report and a conversation about wage inequality in the city of Jackson. And I was a part of that. I utilized my analytical and economic skills to be a part of this debate. Now, full disclosure, the bill did not pass to give a living wage for the city workers. However, as we look today, it is one of the topics on the national platform. Your work today, if you're passionate about it, leads to other national conversations that would have impact. I would also ask that you start to research these different political topics and where their origins come from. I believe Dr. Swinton in his introduction has stated a lot of historic research that has been done by professors at Howard University. On the platform today and bills that are going across the House chamber as well as the Senate, you will see the works of your professors and also mentors throughout the country. Using this and what you're passionate about and have long-term and local, national, and global economic impact. So I encourage you to think about ways to try to impact and economically empower those from minority communities, in particular, those from African-American community. My fifth point is, I don't know if you all have thought about leadership as a potential path for success. It is often said that leaders are born, not made. And to some degree, I disagree with that, right? I think leaders make a choice. They decide to be leaders. Whether they have the skills to move and the big choice is whether or not they have the skills to move the proverbial, quote unquote, needle. It is my belief that each one of you here today are leaders, even if you don't know it. Others can see it in you, even though you may not. After I received promotion and tenured at my former university, I noticed that individuals within leadership start to look at me differently. Now, nothing really changed. I was still the same person, but people start to look at me differently. They started to consider me for chair positions. They started to consider me for leadership positions within the university. This was due in part because, well, my wife, she always says that I kind of believe that the university would close if I wasn't there. I disagree with that, but I believe that others may not have wanted to do the position. But moreover, I choose to believe that they saw leadership potential in me when I didn't. I saw potential success and I could work with other people to accomplish goals. This is one of the things. Leadership is more important for HBCUs today than ever. Understanding this, I decided to pivot my career from just being a professor in the field to leadership in higher education. In order to do this, I believe that you must have a group that believes in you. For myself, there were a few that believed in what I had to offer, and there was others that did not. That's typical. But I fundamentally believe in that truly that impacting HBCUs begins with active and involved leadership. As I began to understand this, and as I began to understand my role in this, it was very important that I begin to have a seat at the table to start to change the lives of those who look like me. While I understand that this path isn't for everyone, it is a path that is needed to be considered by everyone, more so for students that we serve at HBCUs. I recently accepted the role of Dean at Claflin University, and may have been one of the toughest decisions that I had to make. In part, what was I doing? I was leaving my home for over, and position over 13, 14 years, where I've developed relationships with my current organization, NAACP, that was local chapter, state level. I was developing a relationship with politicians within the state, local level, and national level. And moreover, it was my home. I was leaving my family. I was leaving my friends. I was leaving a way of life. I decided to accept the offer and lead Claflin because it was an opportunity to affect and impact the lives of so many others. when I received full support from everyone in my circle. Okay, it wasn't full support, it's about 90%. All right, so it wasn't 90%, but it was just really my family. Once they said it was okay to move, I knew it was the right one for me. But even though I am joking, this unreadiness may be similar to what you may be experiencing after you complete your time here at Howard. I would say that you know who you are in the discipline. Don't forget to have a personal touch. Uncertainty will not stop your potential for success. You can economically empower those who are less fortunate than you, and that each of you are leaders in your own way. I have no doubt that the world and potential problems will be better with you. There's not a need to worry about what's next in your career. You will be successful. Why? Because you are a wonderful gift to our global society. Furthermore, I believe that every good gift and every perfect gift comes from above. To the honorees here today, you're inducted to Omicron Delta Epsilon. In fact, it's in part, it's due to your hard work, your excellence, and your excelling to make tomorrow better than today. You're recognized also as leaders that will inspire, encourage everyone in the field of economics. You are what it means to have that, what they call that magic, that HU, magic. I want to thank you again for this opportunity and continue to shine. I welcome any questions at this point.
Thank you, Nick. So if you have questions, if you could post them to the chat box. Nick and I have known each other for a long time. We met right before we both went to graduate school. So, you know, I don't know if I'm his mentor. I doubt that. We're friends. We went through graduate school and together, and so we have this entire kind of understanding of what each other's going through because we went through it at the same time. So I saw one question so far. What was the biggest challenge you have faced, and what has been the secret to overcoming these?
If I understood the question, the biggest challenge I faced and overcoming it. So one of the biggest challenges is really in leadership, understanding people. And so a little bit of that challenge comes with humility. And one of the things that we got to kind of face and deal with is that in this leadership role, that the opportunity for success comes with bringing people together. How do we start to bring people together in order to accomplish a goal? So one of the biggest challenges is that, because, you know, you have different personalities, you have different agendas, but if you can link everybody to a common goal, then they can view through that lens and you can become more successful.
All right. Any other questions for Dr. Hill?
Let's see.
I saw one say, which one do you like more, Jackson State or Howard?
Oh, now you know that is oh no, I can't answer that. I can't answer that. I like wherever I went to school. Okay. I think that's the best one. I went to both, so I like both of them.
Okay. How have you dealt with imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome.
And I guess so. You could think about your story you told about doing the research and how you might have worried that people didn't think you were good enough because of where you went to do the research, and how have you dealt with that and challenged it?
So I would encourage everybody that it's spaces like this where you build up your strength. There's spaces like this where you start to understand your value and worth. At Howard University, when you're in the graduate program, you have friends who you can talk to about whether or not this is correct. Are you doing your best work? You have professors who are critiquing it at some regards harder than anybody else out there. So I would encourage you to utilize what is available to help build up the muscle to deal with the different challenges, the different critiques, and the different media attacks that present themselves to you. I believe that you have an opportunity to utilize your gifts to change the world. So when there's change, there's always that opposition to change.
All right, and so this is going to be the last one for you. Do you think HBCUs will remain significant in higher education in the long run?
Okay, so if you give me a minute to set up the platform, it is my opinion that they will be more than significant now than ever. One of the things is, just like education in general, there has been a decrease in enrollment, but that's across the board. But one of the things that is to note about HBCU education, it is mission driven more so than anything else. So I think that there's an opportunity for HBCUs to connect the mission to the people in which they serve and really grow and flourish. It's my goal that if we have leaders that are there that can help push the ball down the field, I think that we will be successful. That's why graduate programs like Howard, graduate programs like Jackson State, graduate programs across the country that are HBCUs are needed to produce more professors that can help shape and mold the university. Allow some of them to get into leadership as well to help shape and mold these universities as well.
All right, so I have one last question, and this is from an undergraduate. What piece of advice would you give to an undergraduate who is just beginning their journey in research?
Oh, yes. So there's a couple of things that I would suggest for undergraduate research. Is first, you must learn the tools. So the hard part about research is learning the correct techniques in order to do research. Of course, your professors make it look easy because of the fact that they've been doing it for a while. They can understand and see some of the problems with the model. They can prescribe the better hypothesis to test. They can do that. But you want to learn those particular techniques. But the second, to my opinion, the most important point of the matter is to do research, you got to have passion about what you're researching. If you're not interested in what you're researching, there's no need to actually research it because you're not going to have that with the energy. You're not going to have the capacity. You're not going to be driven to stay up at night. You're not going to be driven to try to find and read that next article. So find something that you're passionate about. Learn the tools that is needed to work and make the research project successful.
All right. Thank you, Nick. So we're going to bring up Aji, who's going to recognize the Graduate Student Stipend Award. Aji.
Hello, everyone. Before I start that, I would like to ask our speaker if there are any approach to tracking the current situation with the pandemic. What do you have any kind of methods or anything you've been discussing with your constituents?
All right, so one of the things is now I'm as a researcher, I'm not into so much of health research, but more so academics and educational research. So right now the big tracking is where students going to school in the fall semester. So with regards to the virus, whether or not how it spreads, I'm not necessarily aware of that. That's a little bit beyond my expertise. I'll leave that to the health analyst for that. But we will see that in higher ed, it changes. Now the way we approach education is going to kind of change. And we need to embrace that. We need to be prepared for it. And we need to be able to answer the tough questions with regards to what students are going to be able to do next semester. And we got to do it quickly.
Thank you. Okay, so that leads me to honoring or presenting our Graduate Travel Award winners. Well, actually, I'm going to say we had one winner, but I'm going to recognize our runner-up as well. And this year's winner, the 2019-2020 Graduate Travel Award winner was Nyanya Brown. And we do have a certificate for you. It'll be coming, in the mail, hopefully soon. But Nyanya is academically distinguished. She not only has, has done a lot of research, she has also worked with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. She's done some international trade work there. She's also interned for the World Bank as well as the UN. So, and I think one of the most important accomplishments to me is that she's my Spelman sister. Sorry, Howard, had to put that plug in that for us here. And we were able to provide a stipend for Nyanya to attend the ASSA meetings. This time it was in San Diego this year. The graduate school was able to also help us out with flight accommodations for her. So this year was really, really great. We also had a runner-up, which was Kirsten McLeod. And we were able to also provide her with a stipend to assist with the cost of attending the conference. I also wanted to just say a few words about what we also did this year in terms of, conferences and supporting some of the students. Last year, we had a partnership with the National Association of Business Economics. And this year we were able to host or pay for registration for 8 students to attend, and as well as receive mentorship from distinguished leaders in the profession. So we're hoping to continue that. And I want to just recognize all the students that participated in that. So, this is great. We like to support, HUEDAA likes to support the students, and we hope to do it more and more, barring pandemic and barring coronavirus and all of that. We hope that we'll have some applicants next year for the ASSA meetings. So thank you, everybody.
All right, next up we have Dr. McDonald. If you're ready to present the Dr. Vincent R. McDonald Seminar Recognition Award. So Dr. McDonald, if you talk, you got to unmute. You have to unmute your volume to talk.
Am I on?
You are.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yep, go ahead, Dr.
All
McDonald.
right. Okay, Dr. Swinton. Gosh, I'm pleased to be here. Dr. Swinton, Chair. To the other faculty, Dr. Spriggs, the advisor to ODE. Dr. Hill, the Dean. I consider Dr. Hill, of course, one of my proud recruits as here. And so it's a real opportunity to be here this afternoon. I guess at the year that Dr. Hill, I tried to recall at the year that he came in there, we had 2 other, I think, recruits from Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. One I know, I'm getting forgetful with some of the names these days, but I think one is now a top lawyer. I'm not sure they're back in, someone might refresh me on that.
That was Eric Simmons, and
Eric
he is
Simmons,
mayor.
yes.
That's
yes.
right, mayor of
yes.
Greenville and a lawyer back in Mississippi.
There were 3 in that year. And we also had in that year, it was a major class, but I think that was the year we also had 2 from Alabama State who came in at that time also. And one is now, I think, a vice president of premier in the government of St. Lucia. It was my last hearing of him. But that has been a wonderful part of my life that I look back on. At this time, I'd also like to acknowledge the president of HUEDAA, Ms. Robinson, who has been such a dynamic person in keeping the students, graduate students, etc., together during this period. To the current and of the faculty and students who are present on this call, I'm very, very happy to be present here. While I must share with you that currently I'm not in the best of health. However, as most of you know, my love for the Department of Economics has been just beyond for the department and for the students I've had the honor to be associated with. Has been quite deep over these years. It is important that our graduates and students recognize the joys and the satisfaction that your faculty derives from seeing your growth and success as the years go by. You graduates and upcoming graduates of the ODE initiatives of this department are all part of a mission approaching 50 years, during which the mission of the Department of Economics there at Howard was that of helping to increase the number of minority economists, a mission which continues even today. It was with that embedded mission that on retirement in 2001, that I established a Senior Recognition Award with the hope that it would be a small step in helping to identify potential undergraduates who would go on to seek the benefits of a career in economics. As such, I am pleased and honored by the nomination of Mr. Carl Romer for the 2020 award. Mr. Romer admits that the economics department at Howard University changed my plans, quote him, and allowed me to see that a PhD in economics was a career path available to me. His spending association with the Federal Reserve Board of Governors as research assistant will be a step in this direction. As such, I concur with the recommendation. I congratulate Mr. Romer and the HUEDAA nominating committee in their selection, not only for this year, but for the 18 to 19 years that I have supported this award. And so, to Mr. Homer, I assume he's present. His plaque reads, the Howard University Economics Department Alumni Association salutes Carl Romer, 2019-2020 Vincent McDonald Senior Recognition Award winner for the Department of Economics, Howard University Economics Department Alumni Association Virtual Spring Recognition Program. Congratulations.
All right, congratulations, Carl. We're next going to have Hazel Robinson.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hope you can hear me. Greetings to Dean Williams, Chairman Swinton, the faculty, alumni, friends, and students. On behalf of the Howard University Economics Department Alumni Association, I bring you greetings. Since 2001, we have been the department's source of help and support as our mission is to provide advice and support to the faculty and students of the Department of Economics. And next year, HUEDAA will be celebrating our 20th year anniversary. And of course, everyone here is invited to the celebration next summer. Our HUEDAA officers are Dr. Charles Thorpe, he's the Vice President, Dr. Sandra Cook Hull, our Secretary, Ms. Patricia Smith, our Treasurer, Dr. Linda Jones, the Chairperson of our Public Affairs Committee, Dr. Gwinnell Bass, the Chairperson of the Awards Committee, Ms. Alberta Baker, Chairperson of the Career Development Committee, and Dr. Gwendolyn Flowers, Chairperson of our Finance Committee. I extend congratulations to all the inductees to the Omicron Delta Epsilon Economics Honor Society, and to our Graduate Student Travel Awardee, Ms. Brown, and to our Dr. Vincent R. McDonough Senior Recognition winner, Mr. Carl Romer. I also want to extend a hearty congratulations to Dr. Omari Swinton for a very successful year. And I want to thank all of the HUEDAA members for their support this year. The HUEDAA folks know that we are in a season of transition. I did not know how a virtual meeting would work out. After we learned that there would be no large gathering of people on campus or anywhere in the DMV, I was just confident that the ODE Spring Banquet would be canceled. So imagine my surprise when the chairman says, let's do a virtual program, of course, minus the food. But let's recognize our awardees and raise money for our endowed funds. And voila, here we are having our first ever virtual spring recognition program. And we are doing everything he suggested. I want to commend the chairman on his vision, flexibility, adaptability, strength, and leadership to making this happen. One of the purposes of the spring dinner lecture is to raise money for the department to endow funds. The Dr. Jean-Louis DeCarmo Bocage Endowed Loan Fund and Dr. Joseph R. Houchins Endowed Scholarship Fund. These funds are our way of providing needed resources to our students. I want to share a little information about these giants of men and our beloved professors. Now, as the years go by since their death, it is more important now to remember them. Dr. Jean-Louis DeCarmo Bocage, for more than 30 years, he dedicated his life to educating the students at Howard University. Among the many courses that he taught, Dr. Bocage is well known for teaching the history of economic analysis to graduate level economic students. Dr. Bocage came to the United States from Haiti, and while working as the first secretary, minister counselor, and later the charge d'affaires in the Embassy of the Republic of Haiti in Washington, D.C., he studied at Howard University at night and earned his master's degree in economics in 1964. He began teaching at Howard in 1967, and because of his fine service, after only 2 years, the university offered him the position as chairman of the Social Sciences Division, where he served for 19 years. Dr. Bocage was instrumental in establishing a chapter of Omicron Delta Epsilon, the International Honor Society in Economics at Howard. At the same time, he attended Catholic University at night and earned a PhD in economics in 1975. He retired from active service in January 1991, but continued to teach on a part-time basis, of course, the course on the history of economic analysis. He did that until 2000, and he passed away in 2003. In August 2004, his wife established the Dr. Jean-Louis DeCarmo Bocage Endowed Loan Fund with an initial gift of $10,000. Dr. Houchins. For almost 30 years, Dr. Joseph R. Houchins was one of the most affable and influential educators in the Department of Economics at Howard University. Even after his official retirement in 1985, Dr. Houchins remained on campus with an emeritus status, primarily to continue his cherished relationships with students and to participate in intellectual discourses of the department. He continued in this capacity until his death in 1990 at age 89. His genuine interest in the welfare and success of each and every student he came in contact with was the principal basis for the establishment of a scholarship fund in his honor. Some highlights of his career: Dr. Houchins, he earned all of his degrees from Cornell University. He has an AB, LLB, MA, and of course the JSD, Doctor of Science of Law. The subject of his study, research, and thesis was the place and legal status of the African American labor market. Towards the end of his graduate study, Dr. Houchins accepted his first teaching post at Wiley College, Marshall, Texas. At Wiley College, he joined a faculty that included such distinguished Black scholars as Melvin Tolson, James Farmer Sr., and Kelso Morris. He left Wiley in 1935 to become an assistant business specialist in the Department of Foreign and Domestic Commerce and an assistant to the National Urban League, Eugene Kinkle Jones, the Commerce Department advisors on Negro affairs. As a consequence of this position, he was named to the body of advisors to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, known as the Black Cabinet. In 1937, he was promoted to the influential position of Chief of the Negro Statistics Unit in the Department of Commerce. In 1954, he became the Director of Compliance for President's Committee on Government Contract in the Eisenhower administration. And then he began his career at Howard University. He left government in 1961 to begin his honorable tenure on educating students at Howard University. Dr. Houchins serves as chairman of the department for a brief time before returning to the ranks of the faculty, where he remained until he reached the mandatory retirement age. After his official retirement, Dr. Houchins continued to travel to campus almost daily. And mind you, he went up two or three flights of steps in that ASB building. After his official retirement, Dr. Houchins continued to travel to campus almost daily. He conducted recruiting for the department and eagerly offered advice and guidance to students, whether they were searching for employment, financial, housing, and even tutorial assistance. We are committed to promoting his legacy and ideas through Dr. Joseph R. Houchins Endowed Scholarship Fund. Since 2003, proceeds from the annual ODE dinner lecture have gone to the Houchins Fund. And I want to say that he is responsible for many of us going into graduate studies, including myself, that I got talked into going. We want to thank all who have given already to the virtual spring recognition. The last time I looked, it was at $1,150. But you can still contribute by going on the Howard University site. You can go to giving.howard.edu and click on Give Now, and under the gift designation, select Other and type in the Houchins Endowed Fund or the Bocage. Thank you, and I pray that you and your family stay well and safe during this COVID-19 pandemic. And most of all, thank you so very much for giving to the Endowed Scholarship Funds.
All right, thank you, Hazel. And so next we have Dr. Spriggs, who will read the names of those who will be inducted into the ODE. Dr. Spriggs.
Thank you, Dr. Swinton, and thank you, Dean Williams, for remaining with us throughout the program. Welcome back home, Dr. Hill. We were very inspired by your talk, and of course, Dr. Swinton and I are very happy to be partners with you in doing research that's necessary on the accomplishments of HBCUs. I want to acknowledge that there are a lot of ODE members I reached out to and asked, please join and show our students your support for them. I won't have time to read all the names, but just so that the students understand, we have people dealing with the time zone difference of being in Seattle, California, Arizona, and we have someone from Ghana who is checked into Zoom. So I want the students to know that there are a lot of people still cheering for you and who want you to know that they understand taking classes with the time zone gap and that they respect you and want to be here for you. I want to read out the names of those being inducted as undergraduates into Omicron Delta Epsilon as Hazel Robinson just said, we are the beta chapter for the District, Maryland, Virginia area, and we are the oldest chapter at an HBCU. I have noticed some of you have checked in, and I saw you on the screen. I apologize if I missed someone. I'm going to read all the names anyway. Tony Anthony, are you here? Annie Atsagbede? Marlon Brooks, I saw Marlon Brooks is here. Javon Coney, I saw Javon was here. David Crawford. Denise Johnson.
People have to
Albina,
unmute themselves in order to say here.
yes. Marlon, do you want to say here?
Okay, I'm here.
And Javon.
Hello, I'm here. Thank you guys.
Congratulations, Javon.
Thank you.
David Crawford. Denise Johnson. Albina Katawoda. Ramsey Nwokolo. Deja Robb. Lauren Roberts. Ethan Rodriguez Shaw. Emery Simon. Idalis Soso. Sydney Taylor. Nijon Washington. Malik Woolard. Kayla York. I want to congratulate all the undergraduates who met the criteria for being invited. You're going to be getting an email directly from ODE this year because they're not able to accept checks the way in which they did in the past. So you'll get the process for responding to the national office. Congratulations on being members of the beta chapter of Howard University. I want to now congratulate the graduate students, and almost all of you I have seen are here. Earlier, we congratulated Niana Brown.
Still here.
Congratulations. Bethel Cole.
Here. Thank you.
Congratulations. Sarah Alhaif. Mohammed Alfayazi. David Dongo.
I'm here.
Congratulations, David.
Thank you.
And Ashwaq Al-Mohammed. I'm sorry, this is Ramadan, so I think we're missing some of our members. We happen to have done this at the beginning of Ramadan. Congratulations to the graduate students who were inducted. We look forward to your wonderful careers and the excellent work that you're going to be doing. And again, congratulations to both our undergraduate and to our graduate inductees. Thank you very much.
All right, so before Dr. Daniels comes up and closes, if Carl, if you could say something, so you'll pop up on the screen, and Niana, if you could say something so people can see who you are, our 2 award winners.
Hello, I'm Carl.
Good to see.
Thank you so much.
And Niana?
Congratulations.
Hi, Nanya. Thank you.
All right, so the last person who's going to speak is Dr. Daniel. So Dr. Daniel, you ready to take us out?
Yep, I'm ready. Can y'all hear me? All right. Well, I want to thank our speaker, Nick Hill. Thank you for being with us today. very inspirational talk. I'd also like to thank family and friends for being with us today for this recognition ceremony. Undergraduate students, our graduate students, this year's graduates, we're excited to see where your careers end up. Please stay in touch. Again, reach back if you need help. The relationship doesn't end just with graduation. We're still available to you guys post that. Alumni, and thank you for being here as well. Staff, faculty, and administrators. Dean Williams, I know you're with us here today. So thank you all for being with us. Our undergraduates and graduate students continue to do great things out in the world while they're students at Howard. They continue to make us very proud. Just to list a few things that they participate in. They do a UC Davis Spring Poverty Research Initiative. Once a year, we send 2 students to do that program where they learn about poverty research. Students have participated in the AEA Summer Training Program. We've been increasing our numbers of participants in the AEA Summer Training Program. That's coming to Howard this year, so that's a big change. And without going into too much detail, I would just like to say, keep up the great work, and thank you all for being with us here today.